Hi everyone, how are we today? Just doing a quick all signs reading today. We are going to look at what is actually blocking you in your love life at the moment. Okay, so I am actually using the Blocks to Love Oracle today. So obviously that's a pretty straightforward kind of deck. It does show us, very, very concise blocks that you may possibly be experiencing when it comes to your love life, any significant love connections that you're involved with, whatever that is for you personally. So take what resonates for yourself. If it's not resonating for you, you are more than welcome to check other placements, cross-watch a specific person's placements, or maybe leave that message for somebody else if it's not applying to you today. That is fine. I do post all signs videos pretty frequently every weekend, as well as the weekly readings with the individual signs. So keep an eye out for all of those. Subscribe so you don't miss out on the notifications of those and whatnot, keeping in mind they are collective readings. So we are just sort of getting the general energy for your star sign. The main ones to check are probably your sun, your moon, and your Venus when it comes to love readings as well. Okay, so like I said, I am using the Blocks to Love Oracle deck. All right, I do also have today it's the late autumn lenormand. Okay, so I will just call it the autumn lenormand because obviously the lay is French for the anyway. So that is the autumn lenormand. Okay, as always, timestamps will be in the description box, so you're more than welcome to jump ahead to your signs. But starting off today with Aries. Okay. Aries, what are the blocks Aries is experiencing in their love life? What are the main blockages Aries is experiencing in their love life? So both or either of these may apply to you, Aries. Firstly, we have gender stereotypes. Okay, so we may be dealing with a very feminine, masculine, feminine energies. We may be dealing with same-sex connections, those sorts of things. Thinking about, yourself there, Aries, and what is it that you stereotype as behaviors or things that, the gender, your gender, needs to be like when it comes to love. Is there any certain stereotypes that you are kind of trapping yourself in when it comes to love? The whole thing of like probably one of the most common ones that we do experience with the gender stereotyping is, that whole boys don't cry, that kind of thing, that, boys aren't allowed to show feelings, which is obviously very, very untrue, but still quite a lot of people out there that do sort of stick to those stereotypes, but that is somehow affecting and blocking you when it comes to love. We also have insecurities, Aries. So I kind of, being an Aries moon placement, I feel you on that one, Aries. We all do it at times. Everybody is kind of guilty of letting your own insecurities get in the way of other things in your life, and obviously keep in mind too that these messages, they can be reversed as well. So it may be somebody that you're dealing with, they may have quite a few insecurities that are getting in the way of the connection. But we'll see if we can get any extra info for you here, Aries. And then during our weekly readings, we will be sort of focusing on overcoming any blockages and, things like that. Okay, so keep an eye out for your weekly reading as well, Aries. Aries, what are the blockages in love Aries is experiencing? Yeah, okay. Firstly, we have the Rider coming through for you, Aries. So, you know, there is this blockage here about you getting up on the horse and riding off into the sunset when it comes to love. You know, once again, can be reversed depending on your situation. But the rider quite often does talk about, you know, getting back up and trying again. So that seems to be the blockage for a lot of you here, Aries, is that you're only giving it one attempt and you're not, you know, trying again, trying in different ways. You're not, you know, getting back up on that horse. You're allowing things to, you know, derail you and stop you from, you know, taking moves towards love. The rider moves forward and moves forward pretty quickly too. So a lot of you here, that is, you're actually blocking yourself from movement just in general when it comes to love, and sort of just sitting there doing nothing rather than running towards love, you know, galloping full speed towards love. We also have the clouds coming through for you. So yeah, once again, tied in with those insecurities, allowing anxiety and, you know, overthinking the negative about yourself, about the connection, about love, allowing those thoughts to take precedence and, you know, really root down deep in you and stop you from, you know, getting back up on that horse and trying again, Aries. So, you know, your thoughts are, you know, they are kind of getting the better of you here. And, you know, because the more that the clouds have an impact on us, the more that we get deep rooted into that anxiety and insecurity, and, you know, it actually clouds our judgment and leaves us even more confused than we were initially. All right. We also have the woman energy coming through. So definitely seeing those gender stereotypes are affecting quite a lot of you there. And so I'm kind of feeling that for a lot of you here, it's the emotions that come with the woman card that, you know, is blocking you, that you're either blocking your emotions or you're, you know, because, you know, especially with the clouds there, I do feel as though that seems to be the case, because the clouds is kind of like anti-emotion. You're stuck up in your head, stuck in those thoughts and allowing those thoughts to swirl and go crazy, and that clouds your emotions, so you don't even know what you even feel anymore. You're so confused that you're not in touch with your softer side, your more feminine side, where the emotions are, where you sort of needing to nurture and protect yourself in order to move past those insecurities and move past those gender stereotypes. So I do feel as though there are a lot of you that, you know, regardless of your actual gender, you're kind of, you know, really trying to force those feelings away. And you know, so for some of you, you may be sort of saying to yourself, you know, like I said at the start, boys don't cry, boys don't have emotions, that sort of thing. You know, for those of you who align as a feminine, you may be saying, oh, I can't just be a, you know, an emotional woman. That's too stereotypical. I can't, you know, I can't allow my emotions to control me. But you've kind of pushed them down away so far that you're not even really in touch with them anymore, Aries. So those are the things that are blocking you. Like I said, you're more than welcome to check your other placements, cross-watch somebody else's placements, subscribe to the channel so you can stay notified when we do have the weekly readings, so we can sort of maybe get a bit of insight into what's sort of coming for you when it comes to love, and, you know, how to overcome those blockages for yourself. All right. So moving along to our Taurus. Okay, Taurus. What are Taurus's blockages when it comes to love? Taurus's blockages when it comes to love. Whoa, okay. There's obviously one flying out on the floor. Lack of alignment with love. Okay, so that's kind of with love in general. You're allowing yourself to align with things outside of love. We will get a little bit more detail when we move into the lenormand here, but for quite, you know, quite often when we're, you know, not aligned with the thought of love at all, or just that love energy, it means that we're either, you know, really stuck up in our thoughts and trying to be too rational and logical rather than just following our heart, that we've kind of lose touch of our heart and what's actually going on for us, and sort of losing a bit of, that leads on to, you know, losing faith in love in general. But It's all about, making small moves where you realign yourself with the energy of love. But for others of you, it may be more along the lines of, you're so overly focused on other areas of your life outside of love. So, work and all those sorts of things. We also have dwelling in the past here, Taurus. So quite a lot of you are sort of, I feel like for a lot of you, that's where that lack of alignment is coming from, because it's a fear. It's a fear that the past will repeat itself. It's fear that, we're going to experience the same issues in a negative way that we may have experienced in the past. And we're allowing those past energies to take hold in the present. Okay, so you're actually giving those, control and energy over your present, even though, those things are in the past. It's kind of that energy of like tarring all prospective love interests with the same brush, that just because somebody has treated you horribly in the past, you're kind of just presuming that everyone is going to treat you that same way. Okay, so just be careful of that, Taurus. But we'll have a look here with the lenormand. Taurus, what's blocking Taurus when it comes to love? What's blocking Taurus when it comes to love, please? Yeah, so firstly, we do have the bear coming through. I feel it's important to mention, I did see the snake on the bottom of the deck, feeling like a bit of past, that's the past. It's some sort of betrayal that you've suffered in the past that you are kind of holding on to there a little bit, Taurus. So just be aware of that. But this bear energy is you're trying to stay strong, and that's where you're forcing, forcing yourself to not focus on love, kind of thing. You're trying to stand up tall and strong and take control of yourself, and you're kind of telling yourself there's no room for love here. I'm all about protecting my heart, and but in the course of protecting your heart, are you really protecting it, or are you defending it? It's two different things. Okay, I feel like you've got those boundary walls up just a little bit too much when it comes to love, Taurus. And then the other two cards we've actually got here, like I mentioned, some of you may just be focusing on other aspects in your life. We have the dog and the garden have come through here. So it does sort of show me that you're putting too much stock in social life rather than love. Okay, and some of you I kind of feel like you might be doing this thing where you're seeing what your friends are going through when it comes to love situations, and you're presuming that love is going to be like that for you too. I kind of just feel like a lot of you maybe not surrounding yourself with anyone who is in a healthy relationship at all. If your goal is a healthy relationship, maybe you should spend some time around people who are in healthy relationships, because it does kind of feel as though your friendship circles and your social circles are kind of impacting you negatively and blocking you when it comes to love. Some of you may even have a very overprotective friend in particular who is kind of cock blocking you, regardless of gender and all that. That's just, everyone kind of is going to understand that phrase, right? Because, with the bear and the dog there together, they may be the one defending your honor, standing up and trying to protect you. They're trying to protect you because they're so loyal to you, but at the end of the day, they're being a little bit too fierce with the protection and the boundaries there. So in some way, shape or form, it does appear that we do have your social life, your friendship groups, or a particular friend may actually be blocking you a little bit when it comes to love. So you may actually do well to strike out on your own a little bit, Taurus, here when it comes to love and meeting others. All right, but more than welcome to check your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel. Keep updated with the weekly readings. I will sort of delve into these sorts of issues in the more positive, what are we going to do about it kind of way. So keep an eye out for those weekly readings. All right, and moving on over to our Geminis. Gemini, what are your blocks to love? Gemini, what is blocking Gemini with love? What is blocking Gemini when it comes to love, please? Not being open to receive love. Whether or not you're realizing you're doing that, Gemini, you are kind of, it's this aura of stay away from me. I'm not interested in love at all. You're just very closed off to the idea of love, and regardless of whether you are aware of that or not, but I feel like it's coming from this, which is the false self-beliefs. Okay, and so it's telling me straight away that your energy is kind of, I don't deserve love, so I won't accept it when it's being offered, so there's no point in you trying. And it is kind of, just your energy when it comes to love. It's like I hate to say it, Gemini, but it feels like even if you think you are, you're not really giving people an actual chance. And when people start to get close to you and start to seem like they might actually like you, let alone love you, you actually kind of, it's like some sort of self-sabotaging type behavior where you're like, I don't believe that they could possibly love me. So, I'm going to sabotage this, or I'm going to push them away, or I'm just going to, not trust them. And then, the more that you're not trusting somebody and you're not opening up in return, it's hard. There's not many people that are going to persist through that, Gemini. So, but you need to kind of maybe admit your role in that a little bit here. That maybe it's because you're not actually open to receive. It's one thing to say, I want love and I'm going to give love, but to actually receive love and actually allow yourself to receive love, that's what we're looking at here. Gemini, what is blocking Gemini in love? What is blocking Gemini when it comes to love, please? We have the ship coming through first and foremost. So, like, once again, you're just too distant. You're keeping too much distance between yourself and others. It's kind of a bit of an energy of running away. As soon as people get too close to you, you're starting to back away, run away, try to put distance between yourself and, oh my gosh, they might like me, so I'm just going to, I need to get on my ship and steer the other direction. All right. We also have the key here, which the key, it really opens up other opportunities for us. So, I feel like that's what a lot of you are doing. You're kind of going, it's that self-sabotaging stuff again, Gemini, where you start to create distance. As soon as somebody starts to look like they could possibly potentially, fall for you, you kind of go, oh, I need to back away from this. I need to, get on my ship and go. But you kind of, you seek a way out and seek options. Say, oh, no, they do this. They're not suited to me. They do that. They do that. They said something like this, and that means they're not suited to me. So I'm just going to go find someone else. And so you're looking for better options before you even allow the first option a chance. So if you're constantly trying to find a better option, you're just creating distance and not even giving anyone the opportunity to, show you that they could possibly love you, Gemini. We also have the clouds. So, you are up in your head a little bit about love as well. So, you overthink things, overthinking things. So it's kind of like that, once again, that energy of as soon as somebody starts to show interest in me, that makes me think that there's something wrong with them, because how on earth could they possibly like me? Because, you have this false sense of belief about yourself that you're not worthy of love. And so as soon as somebody looks like they could possibly love you, that's the red flag that you see, even though it's not actually a red flag. You see it as a red flag. This person likes me. There must be something wrong with them. That's it. I need to get on that ship and I need to go find somebody else who, who's not like that, which, you're overthinking it a little bit here, up in your head too much rather than just allowing yourself to follow your heart. Okay, Gemini, but you're more than welcome to check your other placements, of course. Subscribe to the channel as well, guys. Stay updated. We will sort of look at the more positive aspects of, how to resolve this stuff through the weekly readings. Okay, so keep an eye out for those. But we will move on over to Cancer. Okay, Cancer. What is blocking Cancer when it comes to love? What is blocking Cancer when it comes to love? What's blocking our Cancers in love? Gender stereotypes. Okay, so that's a hard one to explain sometimes, but, it's kind of like someone who maybe is a very masculine, feminine, someone who's maybe a very feminine, masculine, could talk about, same-sex relationships and interests, all those sorts of things. But it's also very much like that whole, the way I try to explain it is, the example of boys don't cry as a stereotype. Right, so that men shouldn't allow themselves to be seen as more feminine because of emotions. But we all know everybody has feelings. To feel is human. So why would men not have feelings? It's kind of ridiculous. But so it feels like something like that. Something that is opposing the truth. Something about you being in opposition to anything that you don't deem as traditional for yourself. All right, even though you may not actually truly believe that, if that makes sense. We also have fear of vulnerability. So a little bit of scared to, and this could, it could be situations reversed, for specific connections and that sort of thing as well. But afraid of, opening up and afraid of allowing, giving someone power over you. That's kind of what it feels like. You're scared of giving someone power over you. If I show vulnerability to this person, that gives them power over me. Fear of really opening up and being very honest and truthful and with somebody here. Okay, Cancer. What is blocking Cancer when it comes to love? Firstly, we have the clouds, Cancer. Up in your head, overthinking things. I feel like that's with those gender stereotypes that you're really overthinking it. That, whatever you were raised to believe doesn't need to be your belief. Whatever is stereotypical of your gender or of somebody else's gender, it doesn't necessarily need to be true for you. Don't they say love conquers all? You're overthinking it a little bit, and it's leading you to anxiety, and it's meaning that your judgment is actually getting clouded when it comes to love. That you're getting a bit confused about what it really means to you and what you really want from love and connections. So something maybe to think about on that one. We also have the rider coming through here. So that kind of shows me that you're kind of scared to ride off into the sunset, with anyone. You're a little bit, it's that fear of vulnerability that if I get up on that horse, what happens if I fall off? You fall off, you get back up, you keep on going. So it's kind of, though, I feel like with that fear of vulnerability, you're just scared to even get on the horse. So there's no way, if you don't get on that horse, how are you supposed to rush in towards love? You know, the rider rush, like it's a pretty quick energy, and it does, you know, move forward. How are you supposed to move forward if you're not willing to get onto the horse in the first place? You know, because we also see the whip coming through for you. So it's you're in conflict. It's because of this clouds energy. You've confused yourself so much, Cancer, about, you know, what, because I feel like with this gender stereotypes and the fear of vulnerability, there's a strong power thing coming in here where you're, you know, to you, falling in love with somebody is you giving up your power to them. And that's why you're not willing to get on that horse. And you're really overthinking it, and it has clouded your judgment to the point where, you know, you're now probably anxious, depressed, very conflicted, and punishing yourself. Just, it's causing you more and more trouble. This fear of your own fear of vulnerability, and you know, being unwilling to even try to move forward when it comes to love. There's some things you're really overthinking here, and allowing it to, you know, take over. There's also, for some of you here, a fear that love is pain, that all love does is hurt. So that there's a bit of a conflict within you about that, a bit of trouble and tension that you might need to deal with when it comes to the sensation, the feeling that love equals pain. It doesn't always have to. Okay, Cancer. I am feeling some, you know, some of those deep down vulnerabilities are closer to the surface than you think, and they're affecting you more than you realize. You know, I do suggest for some of you here that do resonate with that especially that love is abuse, love is pain, love is, you know, love is someone able to abuse their power over me. That, you know, if I love someone, I'm giving all my power away. That love is too much hard work. Um, it may be something you may want to talk to a professional about, that, Cancer, because that is definitely not the only thing. Love can be all those things, but it's about getting on the horse and trying. You know, even if you fall off that, you know, you might get up on that horse and start to move forwards and fall off. And if you fall off, do you know what? You get back up and you try again. Fall off again, you get back up and you try again. You need to keep moving forward. You know, for you, Cancer. You know, because this is hurting you. This is hurting you. I can feel it. You want love, but if you're not willing to try to let it in and to try to heal those parts of you that are conflicted when it comes to love, and feel hurt just by the idea of love, you know, how can you let yourself have love? You know, it's there's a lot of hurt there for a lot of you. Okay, Cancer, but you're more than welcome to check your other placements. Subscribe to the channel so you can keep an eye out for the weekly readings. We will be sort of looking at, you know, the lighter side of love, and, you know, overcoming those sorts of blockages and moving forwards. So keep an eye out for those as well. But we will move on over to our Leos. Okay, Leo, how are we? Leo, what are Leo's blockages when it comes to love? What's blocking Leo with love, please? What is blocking Leo in love? I kind of feel like we've had these exact two for Gemini, I think. So if you do have strong Gemini placements, or you're dealing with a Gemini, you may want to check the Gemini portion as well. Not being open to receive love. I want love, but Are you really willing to let it in? False self-beliefs. I say I want love, but I don't believe that I deserve it. So, in all truthfulness, am I even open to love? Or am I self-sabotaging and pushing people away before they even get the chance to get too close? Leo, what are Leo's blockages when it comes to love? Leo's blockages when it comes to love. What's on the other side of that, please? What's the other option? What's the other option for Leo here, please? You're at a turning point, Leo, when it comes to your blockages, with love and love in general. You are at a bit of a turning point here. We have the crossroads coming through first. So this is where it's time to make a choice. It's time to make a decision when it comes to love, and it comes to the way that you approach love and the way that you receive love, the way that you allow yourself to believe you deserve love or not. Because on one side of that decision, we choose to find companionship without love, okay? There's still love, but it's a platonic love. This is friendships and family relationships. This is not romantic, sweep me off my feet love. Choosing to spend the rest of your life only relying on the support of platonic loyalties. Some of you only choosing to rely on yourself. On the other side of that, Leo, we have the star and the key. Choosing to actually move towards our truest wishes and desires. Trying to have hope and optimism that love exists for us. That we can find opportunities to defeat our self-beliefs and find love. There's a lot of opportunities for success with both of these cards coming through. But you need to choose that success. You need to choose love as an option for yourself. At the moment, you're on this path of love isn't an option for me. I should just be happy with friendships, and I already know who's loyal to me and who supports me, and that's all I need. My friends, my family, that's all I need. Deep down, I wish for love, but it's time to make a choice. You need to actually choose to wish for, to wish to overcome your self-beliefs and find successful opportunities for yourself to move towards love, to be open for love, to actually be willing to receive love, and not just from friends and family, from the person that your soul truly craves. There's more options for you than just relying on yourself, relying on your family and friends. Is friendship going to be enough for you, Leo? Or is it time to really, really choose to destroy those self-beliefs that you don't deserve love, and to start actually being willing to actually receive it? Sorry if that's a bit tough on you there, Leo, but that's what we have for you. You're more than welcome to check your other placements, cross-watch other people's placements, subscribe to the channel, keep an eye out for the weekly readings. We will try to, do the lighter side of love messages during the weekly readings, so keep an eye out for those as well. Moving on over to our Virgos. Okay, Virgo, what's blocking Virgo when it comes to love? What are the blockages Virgo is facing with love? These two are very much the same energy, not going to lie. Feeling not good enough. It's not good enough. I'm not good enough. Negative self-image. I'm not good enough for love. Why not, Virgo? Everyone deserves love. It doesn't matter, honestly. Everyone deserves love. You know, even I don't know the person's name, but I've seen there's like it's like a meme type thing, but it was a show about marriage and stuff, and it was like some of the people you see getting married and totally in love, and it's like how on earth does somebody love that person? Maybe a better example is, you know, even serial killers get fan mail and offers of love and marriage and whatnot. Why are you not good enough? Are you not more worthy of love than a serial killer that's, you know, in jail for ever? You know, think about, you know, Charles Manson and how many like women were throwing themselves at his feet, even though he was in jail for life and never getting out. What makes you less worthy of love than those sorts of people? Nothing at all, Virgo. I hate to break it to you, but it's all in your head. You are good enough for love. Let me ask you, Virgo, are you able to love somebody? Well, then somebody's able to love you. All that love that you have to give, there is somebody out there who's going to be able to give that to you. Virgo. Virgo, what's blocking Virgo when it comes to love? And I'm picking up here too that a couple of you, this is actually crossed. Like this is someone you're dealing with and you're like struggling to understand why things aren't working with this person, why they keep pushing you away and stuff. And this is why. It's because of it's the situation might be reversed for some of you. You know, and we keep pushing people away. We keep putting distance between ourselves and love because we just feel as though we don't deserve it. Like that could never happen to me. Looking at love as though it's like some sort of treasure that I'll never find. Why? We have the fish coming through as well. That's a bit concerning. I'm not going to lie. Why? Because that's money. That's money. Why are you putting it's kind of like you're telling yourself that I don't have enough money to get love. You don't buy love. Love is not something that can be bought and sold. Well, like certain circumstances, yeah, it probably can, but in general, you cannot buy love. Doesn't matter how much money you have. Once again, like those serial killers in jail, that you know, there's homeless people that have love in their life. You know, some of the poorest people in the world have love in their life. Why do you need money to have love? If somebody loves you, they don't need your money. They truly love you and you truly love them. Money is something that you can deal with together. You don't have to, you know, it's not your sole responsibility, Virgo. We also have the ring coming through. So not going to lie, some of you have commitment issues as well. And that you're allowing yourselves to stay stuck in this cycle of, I don't deserve love, I don't have enough money for love. And so you just keep pushing love away and distancing yourself from love. And it's continuing the cycle because it's all coming down to the root cause of your self-image, and your self-confidence and your self-beliefs that you don't deserve love, and you don't have enough to offer. But there is actually a little bit of you too, Virgo, that is scared of making certain commitments as well. So some of you, I feel like some of you it's one, and like some of you it may be more along the lines of the fear of commitment rather than the negative self-image. But even if it's just the fear of commitment, it's actually stemming from something deep down within yourself that you believe about yourself, that you there's some belief that you don't deserve love. So that's probably something you need to have a bit of a look at there, Virgo. Make sure you keep an eye out for the weekly readings. We will be trying to look at the positive aspects of love so you can sort of, overcome these sorts of things. So make sure you subscribe so you can get notifications for the weekly readings as well, Virgo. But you're more than welcome to check other placements as well. But we will move on over to our Libras. Okay, moving on to our Libra, what are the blockages in love you might be experiencing? Libra, blockages in love for our Libra. What are Libra's blockages when it comes to love, please? Feeling incomplete. Feeling like there's something missing, Libra, when it comes to love. That you're not getting all your needs met. So it's kind of like, for those of you who are, single, you are kind of feeling as though you need love to be whole. That you need somebody else to help you make you whole. That there's just something within you that cannot be fulfilled without somebody else. So it's kind of a little bit depending on somebody else to love you in order for you to be able to love yourself. But we also see this fear of commitment coming through, which is interesting because I'm getting a sort of divisive thing here where it's like I need somebody else to make me feel whole, but at the same time I'm not willing to give my whole self to somebody that that there's this gap happening for you, Libra, where I'm not entirely willing to give my whole self to somebody, but I need somebody to fill myself. It's a bit of a mixed sort of energy there. It's a little bit contradictory against its own self. But we'll have a look with the lenormand here, Libra. Libra, what are Libra's blockages when it comes to love? What are the blockages for Libra when it comes to love? So the first card we have here is the Fox, which is that fear of commitment, not willing to give your whole self, that you feel as though you need to hold back and be independent and not allow somebody to have the kind of power over you that commitment sometimes allows, that you're not willing to give your whole self to somebody because, there's this part of you where you're like, no, I need to be very independent and I need to only think about myself. And it's kind of a presumption that you're putting out there as well, Libra, that because there's a strong part of you that feels like you need to maintain being independent, and maintaining that part of yourself, that you kind of feel as though that nobody would be able to give you their whole self either, because they need to be independent, and they, it's a kind of interesting energy, because there's codependency, but there's the opposite of codependency as well. There's this stark independent energy as well as a bit of a codependent energy. So it's they're kind of clashing within you a little bit here. We also have the dog energy coming through here, which I just feel as though that's talking about, feeling the lack of support in your life that you desire. You're just feeling like there's a bit of a lack of full trust and loyalty and support and understanding and empathy for you, that nobody could possibly understand me kind of energy. Nobody could ever make me feel complete, even though I need somebody else to help me feel complete. It's once again a bit of a contradictory energy here going on for you, Libra. We also have the birds. Okay, so that kind of tells me too that you for some reason you're unable to have the deeper conversations when it comes to love about this stuff, that it causes you anxiety, and you do get this sense of, it's this sense of restlessness when it comes to this whole situation, because I think that's where the flipping between independent, I need to be independent, and codependent, I need to be codependent, I feel like that's kind of where that's coming from, because you're so restless when it comes to love. It's like you can't sit still. Like as soon as you start feeling codependent, you've got to be independent, and then as soon as you're feeling independent, you've got to be codependent. It's kind of this restless energy where there seems to be a big struggle for you to find the happy medium just within your own self when it comes to love. And I really feel like the deep down thing here is the fear of full commitment blending in with that feeling like I'm never going to be complete. I'm never going to have everything that I want. And it's like I don't, so it kind of flips you in between like the two energies here. It's kind of also an energy with both the friendship card and the birds coming through there. The birds sometimes can talk about like gossip and chit chat and rumors and stuff like that. So I feel like for some of you there is a bit of an energy there of seeing what other people go through when it comes to relationships and love. It's kind of like you put these rumors in your own head that as soon as I commit fully to this, as soon as I start feeling whole, that it's kind of like, this little rumor in the back of my mind telling me, it's like this little birdie on my shoulder telling me that, you can't feel this way because then you'll get hurt the way that so and so got hurt, or that even that person online got hurt, or so it's like you're seeing things and then putting them onto your own self and your own connections a little bit there as well. So it kind of feels like you maybe not take that on board. Try to avoid that a little bit there, but subscribe to the channel so you can keep an eye out for the weekly readings, because I will be trying to look at the more positive angles of love and how to overcome these sorts of things for each sign as well. So worth waiting and checking that one out as well for the more positive side of things. But you are more than welcome to check other placements as well, and cross-watch other placements, see what's going on the other side of things. But we will move on over to our Scorpios. Scorpio, blockages that Scorpio is facing in love. What are the blockages affecting Scorpio with love? Fears around love, just that feels pretty just general. Like there's just some sort of fear when it comes to love, just in general. For a lot of you, it's because of this feeling of loss. So it's kind of this energy of, what it feels like to lose somebody, whether that be, it doesn't really even matter who the person was that you have lost, and whether it was a physical loss or whether it was a loss in love, a breakup, those sorts of things. You've experienced love and you've experienced it in many different ways, but then you've also experienced losing that. All right, so I do feel that for some of you that this has got to do more actually with losing a family member, that that feeling of loss of a family member, maybe when you were younger too, Scorpio, and that's actually created some fear around letting yourself get too close to people and letting yourself care too much, because you seem to be very aware of the fact that life could come to an abrupt end at any given moment, and that scares the ish out of you, that you could love someone, and what happens if I fall so in love with somebody only to lose them again? Because I feel like for a lot of you that loss was actually family love, rather than romantic love, but it's scared you off allowing yourself to love anybody, because it's like, this fear of, as soon as I love somebody, I'm going to lose them. Scorpio, what are the blockages Scorpio is facing when it comes to love? What are the blockages facing Scorpio when it comes to love? Pretty much what I've already just said, Scorpio. We have the scythe. So we're scared of sudden endings. We're scared of, things changing suddenly, unexpectedly, losing. We're scared of death for some of us, because the scythe, that's what death carries, right? Some of us, that's what scares us the most, is that it doesn't matter who it is in our life. We know that everybody in the world is going to die at some point. And you just seem to have this big fear that as soon as you allow yourself to love somebody, that you are going to lose them. And that there is going to be a sudden break in that love. We do have the heart coming out there as well. So you're scared of love itself a little bit here, Scorpio, that a lot of the things associated with love scare the ish out of you. And once again, we're getting that message in regard to the feeling of loss. We have the lily. You can even see here in this card, this is, an elderly woman. We're scared about the end of life. Death. Old age. Death. Mortality seems to be the biggest issue for you when it comes to love, to be honest. And emotional vulnerability as well, with the lily there as well. That's as soon as I get too close, as soon as I let love in, it'll be taken from me. in one way or another. I feel like for a lot of you, I am really feeling for a lot of you, this is, the death of somebody that you loved when you were young has affected you when it comes to romantic love more than you realize, because of the loss, the factor of loss, and you loved this person, most likely a family member. For some of you, it was like your mother or your grandmother, somebody that you were very close to and that you loved with all your heart, and that was one of the first people that you ever loved in your life. It was one of the people that you also lost in your life. So when those sorts of things happen in our childhood, that sets the foundation of who we are as adults. And, especially when it's, people that we love. As soon as I care about somebody, like I care about somebody so strongly, and then only to lose them, that scares the ish out of you. So, I know that may not resonate for everybody, but you are more than welcome to check your other placements. Keep an eye out for the weekly readings. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can see when your weekly reading is uploaded, because we will be trying to look at the more positive sides of love, and how to overcome this ish. So keep an eye out for that one. But we will move on over to our Sagittarius now. Okay. All right. Sagittarius, what are the blockages around you when it comes to love? What are Sagittarius's blockages when it comes to love? What are the blockages around love for Sagittarius? Oh, some of you may be close to Scorpio season as well. So if you're on the cusp, you may want to check that Scorpio reading. It was a little bit in depth here, but we have the inner child wounds coming through, as well as fears around love, both connected. The things that happen to us in our childhood, the things that especially any traumatic experiences from when we were children, and it forms the foundation of who we become as adults. And unfortunately, sometimes those wounds actually create blockages in us as adults, around romantic love, coming from, stemming from the first type of love that we were supposed to have in our lives, family love. For some reason, here, Sagittarius, I felt I wanted to say sisterly love for somebody there. So some of those inner child wounds may actually relate to a sister for some of you. So I'm not exactly sure what that wants to talk about, but it came through like that. But obviously, some of you here, like, even if you don't even, even if you didn't have any huge traumatic events affecting you in your childhood, and you can't sort of say that, oh, I've got these inner child wounds. Firstly, inner child wounds is they can be created, any time when we're a child, all the way through to early adulthood. But a lot of the time, sometimes they're things that we didn't necessarily realize wounded us. Just the way that we were brought up to believe in things, the stereotypes we were given around what love is supposed to look like, good and bad, because for some people, sometimes that inner child wound can actually look like, as a child, you were shown such a, you were kind of taught that love should uphold such a high standard that for an adult, no one can compete with that. And it creates a fear that nothing's ever going to be up to par, good enough for you when it comes to love. So needing to think about the foundation of love within ourselves, connect to how we raised, what our childhood was like. It seems like there's a delay the video. I don't know whether it is coming in the recording or not. I'm just going to quickly pause and fix a little glitch. Sorry, Sagittarius. I hope that has helped if it was affecting you guys in, on the video there, or if it was maybe just, you know, me. Okay, Sagittarius, we'll have a look with the lenormand for you as well. Blockages for our Sagittarius when it comes to love. What are the blockages around Sagittarius when it comes to love? Firstly, we have the cross. This is definitely something that stems from childhood for a lot of you. Like we sort of spoke about with the inner child wounds and the foundation that you were raised in here. For a lot of you, this is actually religious upbringings, okay, that may have actually affected you more than you realize when it comes to your sense of duty and responsibility when it comes to the idea of love, that it has to meet a certain standard or whatnot, a certain traditional viewpoint, those sorts of things. Now I'm actually picking up on somebody who is, you know, maybe in a same-sex, you know, maybe interested in same-sex connections, and the way that you were raised is actually really those inner child wounds around the idea of same-sex is it triggers you still, and it makes you fearful of love because, you know, deep down there's this little child inside you that is scared that, you know, it's coming through pretty strong that this is somebody's message, that, you know, you're scared that God won't love you because you like the same sex or something along those lines, or that your, you know, your sexuality, there's something wrong with me. It's definitely not. And I can guarantee you that God loves you regardless of your sexuality. Okay. It kind of, yeah, there's a whole big spiel that I could go on when it comes to that. I have some very strong opinions on that. But as somebody who gets very clear messages from the universe, from God, from spirit, whatever you want to look at that as, God has no problem with your sexuality, okay? Really does not. If anything, he is inspired. You know, inspiration a lot of the time. It's just part of life, and that gets proven over and over again even in animal kingdom. You know, like look at the gay penguins in the zoo. Oh, sorry. Duty to your family, duty burdens that you carry from your childhood. You know, feeling like it's your obligation, responsibility to be a certain person, to be a certain type of person, to be stereotypical, traditional, whatever that is for you. It's very connected to your sense of self and your sense of spiritual self. Okay, so there's some struggles there that I'm picking up on. So some probably strong traditional family beliefs when it comes, you know, to religious stuff. So I'm sorry, Sagittarius, that you had to be wounded in that way as a child. All we can do is try to do better for our own children now, right? Sorry, once again, I'm going on off tangent there because that is something I feel very strongly about. So I'll move on. We also have the bouquet. So this is one of your fears around love as well, Sagittarius. You fear that you will not receive love as much as you give love. So for some of you, this may be another thing connected to your childhood, that, you know, it's like the more that I give, I never receive. I never receive love in return, even when I give it. You know, I give my time, my love, my energy. I never receive, you know, I never get it. I'm never giving back what, you know, what I put in. It's never reciprocal. It's always one-sided. We also have the anchor. So a lot of you, there is this blockage where, you know, you're just a little bit, it kind of feels like stuck, feeling a little bit dragged down by your past a little bit here, a little bit stuck on some of the stuff from the past here. And, you know, there's a bit of a blockage about am I safe enough to move forwards in my way? You know, the heart wants what it wants, Sagittarius. Some of you also, for some of you, this is actually work getting in the way as well. That you're like, oh, work relies on me too much. I can't worry about love because, you know, it's a distraction technique in a lot of ways there, Sagittarius. But, you know, there is just this pull to stay stuck in the past when it comes to love, because of the fear that I need to find my own way when it comes to love. But you know, we will be looking a little bit more at the positive stuff in the weekly readings when it comes to love. So make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can keep notified when the weekly reading comes out for you. You're more than welcome to check your other placements, of course, as always. But we will move on over to our Capricorns. Okay, Capricorn. Blockages in love for Capricorn. What are the blockages around love for our Capricorns? What are the blockages around love for Capricorn? Lack of alignment with love, Capricorn. Ooh, for you, Capricorn, that's the balance of head versus heart, I think, for a lot of you. That it's just out of whack. It's just out of balance. It doesn't feel like a huge blockage for you. It just is something. It's just feeling like something needs to be rebalanced when it comes to love. You know, and your idea of love and what you want with love and those sorts of things. That for a lot of you, you're trying to look at love in a very rational, logical way. Which, you know, when we're looking at love, that comes from the heart. It doesn't come from your head. So, you know, you need to be a little bit more emotional based when it comes to love. You know, try to get out of your head a little bit. I know that you like to be very, you know, structured and organized, but love is not necessarily something that always is logical. So you do need to balance it out a little bit more, you know, not just rational thinking when it comes to love. Make sure you're looking at the emotional side of things as well. All right, it's just a bit of a rebalance necessary there. So I do kind of feel as though there might be some issues around the heart chakra for you, Capricorn. So you may just want to do like a meditation or something that is specifically based around balancing heart chakra energy, balancing love energy. All right, so just pop that into YouTube, you know, balancing love or balancing heart chakra meditation or whatever, and you'll find one that you're comfortable with and see if that helps. We also have low self-esteem coming through here, Capricorn. That's probably why we're struggling to come from a balanced perspective when it comes to love, you know, because there is just this secret little part of us that is trying to tell ourselves that we're not good enough for love. We're not enough for love. It's some self-esteem issues may be affecting you when it comes to love, Capricorn. I'm a Capricorn as well. Is there body issues is coming to mind there for me personally, but it feels like I needed to mention it as well. Like that self-esteem issue, it may be stemming from sort of body image for some of you guys as well. Capricorn, blockages to love when it comes to Capricorn's energy. What are the blockages around love for Capricorn? Just trying to place that energy. I did just see that same card for Sagittarius, but it feels a little bit... I think it's referring to the trying to be rational stuff. But I'm just going to clarify that. Clarify that first card for Capricorn as a blockage. Explain how that is a blockage to love for Capricorn, please. We have the anchor clarified by the whip here. So the anchor is like, you know, just being stuck. So I feel like for a lot of you, it's like you're stuck in the logical, rational way of thinking when it comes to love. But clarified by the whip here, it's kind of a little bit maybe more along the lines of you're stuck in some sort of conflict when it comes to love, that you're being held back by conflict, by tension, by drama, by punishing yourself a little bit here too. You know, looking at love as though it's hard work, it's pain, it's hurt. That, you know, you're maybe a little bit stuck on the idea that rationally, you know, because I think that's maybe why we're stuck trying to think about love in a rational sense, because you've probably been hurt by love a lot, whether that's, you know, platonic love that has hurt you, or, you know, romantic love that has hurt you so much, Capricorn. But, you know, there's a part of you that is a little bit stuck on the idea of relating love to hurt, that you can't have love without pain, that love is pain, that love will only hurt me, kind of thing. So you're just a little bit stuck there on that whole idea, I think, Capricorn. For some of you, it's because it's, you know, you may be stuck on a specific trouble, drama from the past when it comes to love, or like self-punishment as well, punishing yourself for something. We do have the key here as well, which is basically, you know, opportunities. And I feel as though for a lot of you, Capricorn, that this is, you know, it's more about openness, right? Because you know, the key opens opportunities, it opens new doors for yourself. But I feel like for you, the key word here is open. Like you're having trouble unlocking the doors to seek opportunities when it comes to love. That you're a little bit blocked from opening up to love, to people. A little bit stuck on opening up to taking any risks. That's once again being overpowered by the logical stuff. You're not willing to invest. You're not willing to take a chance. The clover here is it is the card of taking a chance, of gambling on love, gambling on yourself in love, gambling on love becoming successful and positive for you. Not taking any risks, not being willing to open up to love and jump in the deep end because you're stuck on the idea that love is pain, that if I jump in the deep end, it's just going to hurt me all over again. It's like I'm getting this if I jump in the deep end, I'm just going to break my legs. That's a logical thought, Capricorn. That's not your heart. Okay? The heart wants what it wants. The heart is willing to, jump without even looking. The heart just jumps, and doesn't matter if you break your legs. The heart doesn't care if you break your legs. Not going to lie. Not going to lie. It's a risk the heart is willing to take. The heart jumps without question. The head stops us. Okay. So that's what appears to be your main blockages, Capricorn. You are more than willing to check your other, more than welcome. I forgot the word for a second then. Talk about not welcoming up, not opening up, not welcoming, not opening the door, not welcoming love in. Oh my gosh. I even forgot the word welcome. That's what we have though for you guys. Check out your other placements. Keep an eye out for the weekly readings. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can keep updated when they are uploaded, because we will try to look at the positive spin on love and see how to overcome these blockages for you in the weekly readings. Okay. But for now, we will move on over to our Aquarius. Okay. Aquarius, the blockages around love for Aquarius. What are the blockages Aquarius might be experiencing when it comes to love? Not going to lie, Aquarius, you and your energy actually feels pretty perky when it comes to love. So for some of you, this is actually like a cross-watcher kind of energy. Like the situation may be reversed with somebody that you're dealing with, and this is what you're dealing with, this person's issues rather than your own. Not going to lie, your energy feels quite perky. I don't know why I'm getting that word perky. That's what I'm getting. But we do have victimhood coming through here. So that's somebody, feeling persecuted, but playing it up a little bit, that, I feel like the victim, that I am the victim of love, that feeling like everyone else around them is to blame. But it's like they're not taking personal responsibility for the role that they play, the behaviors that they exhibit, which actually are stemming from their own lack of self-love. So once again, I am sort of speaking as though this is somebody other than you. But for some of you, this is going to resonate for you yourself, and you're going to know, that victimhood, especially though, it is hard to face up to that energy sometimes, when it is a hell of a lot easier to just blame everybody else for your issues and the reason that, and say that everybody else is the reason that you have no love around you right now. But maybe needing to ask yourself, like, am I truly taking personal responsibility for the lack of the love in my life? Is there some part of me that lacks love for myself that allows me to feel this way, that I'm just the victim because it's like, if I don't love myself, then and I don't understand, that means I don't really know what love even is. And so how is it my fault that no one loves me? Because no one's ever showed me love, kind of thing. I'm kind of getting that. Once again, though, you know, take it as it resonates. It may not be you. It may be somebody that, you know, you're in a connection with here, Aquarius. Because once again, you feel quite perky. But that's what I'm saying. Is that just a cover for the truth of how you feel about yourself, that you do lack love for yourself? Aquarius. Aquarius, what are the blockages in love for Aquarius? What are the blockages in love for our Aquarius? Okay, so I know, like I said, it's very confronting, this victimhood stuff. So please don't take anything I say too negatively. If it's too triggering or too confronting, you know, leave it. That's perfectly fine. But for those of you who are willing to hear it, we have the house coming through first and foremost, which it shows us that it's you feel safer playing the victim than actually taking responsibility for your own issues when it comes to love. That, you know, you don't love yourself, so it's easier to just say that nobody else loves you either. Nobody else can love me because I don't love me. It's safer for you. You feel more secure without love than taking a chance on love. Taking a chance to, you know, fix this issue within your own self where you lack love for yourself. I also have here the coffin and the whip. Okay, so for some of you, there is this blockage here where it's like, you know, every time you feel like there might be love around for you, you kind of end it before it can even start. The ending comes before the beginning with the coffin. So you're kind of ending potential for love before it's even really begun. It's because of the inner conflict. It's because you're you know, once again, it's that victimhood coming into effect here, where you're. It's easier to just self-sabotage and punish yourself than to actually try when it comes to love, because you're equating love to pain and hurt. So it's safer for me to just end it before it even begins, because, you know, this person is only going to hurt me. This person, you know, if they love me, they will hurt me. You know, once again, I will be the victim. They will hurt me. So it's too much hard work. It's safer for me to just stay away from love. But in honesty here, Aquarius, it is stemming from a lack of self-love. So needing to find love for self first before we can even open up to accepting personal responsibility for this. Because it's easier to just tell ourselves, nobody loves me, nobody ever likes me enough. You know, as soon as things start to get real, they back away. But like, what part of that is you actually self-sabotaging the situation and pushing them away, stopping them from getting too close, so that you can continue on with that idea that, see, told you they were just going to hurt me, you know. But keep an eye out for the weekly readings, because we will be trying to sort of look at the more positive side of love stuff, and, you know, resolve these issues and whatnot, resolve these blockages. So make sure you subscribed so you will be updated when that comes out for your sign. You're more than welcome, though, to check other placements or cross-watch somebody else's placements as well. But for now, we will move on over to our Pisces. Okay, Pisces. Pisces, what are the blockages around love for Pisces? What are the blockages around love for our Pisces? How is that a blockage? Can I, firstly, I just want to clarify that card so I can understand that one. I haven't seen that one yet today. Please clarify this block for Pisces when it comes to love. Yeah, what? That didn't really clarify it. What I'm going to do, Pisces, I'm going to show you the card and touch on it briefly, but I will draw another card in replacement, and I might have to come back to this deck and talk to that card a little bit more for an explanation on what that is specifically. We have complaining. So, complaining, like, it just doesn't make sense to me, to be honest. In the format of this reading, anyway. Somehow complaining is a blockage to love. So if that resonates for you personally, take it. Otherwise, we will draw another card for you here, Pisces. What are the blockages for Pisces when it comes to love? Okay, so we do have lack of self-acceptance has come out instead, or as well as that. So lack of self-acceptance, that there's a part of you that you are denying the truth of yourself. Okay, so there is just a little bit of like shadow work that you may need to do in regards to love, Pisces, where it is accepting all of yourself, not just the good bits. Okay, that's, ultimately what shadow work is, everyone has dark and light within them. We need those both. And it's all about accepting that the darker parts of ourselves are still part of us. The part of us that we don't like, if we admit it and we accept it, we can integrate it into ourselves, in a whole kind of way. And then we can work on it if we want to, and change that if we want to. But first, we need to admit it to ourselves that we maybe have that bad quality, or, a tendency to do this or a tendency to do that, or, there's just a part of you, part of yourself that you're denying exists when it comes to, love and the way that you are connecting to the idea of love. Because we also have unprocessed past traumas. So once again, this is definitely telling me, the same sort of thing, shadow work type stuff, that, there's some stuff that you haven't processed, haven't accepted. Like, obviously past traumas is something that is a lot to just accept. You can't just a lot of the time accept that and move on. But you need to admit that that is affecting you to start with. I feel, Pisces, that there's a part of you that is just in denial. I feel like that's what's coming through here, Pisces, is that there is a big part of you that is in denial about these things affecting you at all. Some unprocessed past traumas that You know, for some of you, I feel like you're denying that there's any trauma at all. Everybody has trauma. It's just, you know, it's different for everybody. Some people, that trauma is, you know, severe, crazy-ish, you know, that has happened in their life. Whereas for others of us, you know, the main trauma that someone might have experienced might have just been, oh, a guinea pig died when I was a kid. And that was, you know, but that it's unfair to say that that wasn't traumatic to that child when that happened to them. You know, like we can't judge other people's traumas, you know, because the way that things are felt emotionally isn't necessarily dependent on what's actually happened. You know, sometimes, you know, especially, you know, like for me personally, right, I've been through quite a lot of trauma and traumatic experiences in my life. So, you know, there's certain things that might happen in my life, and to me, that's not even traumatic. It's not even a deal, because I'm like, well, I've been through like a million times worse than that, or I've been through that before. So that happening isn't a trauma experience to me. Whereas to, you know, like 9 out of 10 other people, that is going to be like a huge traumatic experience. So, you know, there's no set in stone thing saying that only these things are traumatic. You know, like, because to certain people, you know, the worst thing that happens in someone's life is, you know, there's a spectrum as with everything, right? There's a spectrum. So the things that emotionally were traumatic to one person may or may not be traumatic to another person. And, you know, same as that with everything, you know. Some of us, you know, experience a like a trauma response when we break a fingernail, when we lose an item that we, you know, a beloved item. Some people experience that as a traumatic experience, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's if that's traumatic to that person, that's traumatic. Just because it might not be traumatic to somebody else. Like, and trauma's weird like that too, guys. It really is really weird like that, because, you know, like I said, I've been through a lot of trauma in my life. But do you know something that always sticks out to me as something that was actually like a heavy, well, it wasn't like a horrible thing, but to me, it was actually traumatic in its own serious kind of a way. You know, and to me, like, it feels to me like I'm being silly to say this, especially considering some of the trauma I've been through in my life. You know, like I'll just one of the probably least traumatic things that is a traumatic thing that I've been through when I was young was, I'm just going to use some examples here of my real life examples. Something I went through when I was young, that, you know, was a very traumatic, eye-opening experience was, you know, being homeless for the first time, being kicked out of home and not having, you know, having to, you know, suddenly find somewhere to go, that sort of thing. All right, being homeless. So, you know, for a lot of people that would be like crazy traumatic. Something that I personally found just as traumatic as that when I was younger. I remember it clear as day. All right. And my Pisces bestie, if you're watching, she'll know exactly how traumatic this was for me, because she was there, and I was heartbroken, because a girl decided she did not like me, and she spat chewing gum into my hair, and I had to cut off a whole big chunk of hair. I cried so much, guys. Like, honestly, I would have preferred being kicked out of home all over again, than have chewing gum spat in my hair. It was a big traumatic experience, but in the grand scheme of things, that is like nothing, I still have a lot of feelings about that. I've just discovered I still have a lot of feelings about that. And that was like over 20 years ago. Unprocessed past traumas, okay, Pisces? Unprocessed past traumas. Oh my gosh. So whatever those traumas are for you, there's no judgment here, all right? We accept any trauma as, if you don't process it, it's going to affect you, and it's obviously blocking you when it comes to love. All right, but we'll have a look here as well, Pisces. I've obviously gone off on a little bit of a tangent for you today, so I am sorry. But tell me how ridiculous I am, guys. I'm still traumatized about that. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not lying. I've been through some stuff, like way worse than that. But to me, it was on par with being homeless. Ridiculous. Pisces, what are the blockages affecting Pisces in love? What are the blockages in love for our Pisces? Okay. Firstly, we have the moon, Pisces. Emotions are one of your blockages, your emotions, because I feel like that's connected to the unprocessed past traumas, as well as the lack of self-acceptance. Like, I feel like a lot of you are refusing to accept that you have feelings and that you have emotions about some of this stuff from the past. You're like pushing those feelings away and trying to just ignore them. You're not actually facing them in order to deal with them and process those feelings and emotions, all right? We also have, this one's actually a real biggie. This came up for somebody else here as well, and I feel like when this has come through, it's a biggie. It's a big one. All right. Who was it? Was it Scorpio? Sag. We have the cross. Okay, so, and I feel like for a lot of you, this is actually connected to, once again, your past traumas, but also that lack of self-acceptance, because, for a lot of you, this is connected to religion. All right. And I am sort of picking up straight away. For a lot of you, this is some sort of, the way that you were raised, whether it was actual religion, or just the stronger spiritual foundation within yourself of, like traditional beliefs, the traditional type of, the stereotypes that were put into your foundation, as in, what you were raised to believe was right and wrong, or, what you should believe, those sorts of things. So previously, when this came out, it was connected to gender stereotypes. So, like, which is, things like being raised to believe that homosexuality is a sin. I'm not going to go off on that tangent again. I've already done a tangent for you, Pisces. I'm not going to go on that tangent again where I scream about how much God loves everyone. All right. But it's like responsibilities, obligations to your foundation, to your upbringing. A lot of you here. that your emotions and your personal intuition it's kind of like in contrast to your spiritual, religious, traditional stereotype that you were, I want to say, told to believe, kind of thing here, because it feels like you're in contrast to that, that you kind of feel something, you feel a little bit more deeper than this is what the Bible says, this is what you have to believe, this is what we believe, this is what you should believe. You seem to have beliefs that are in contrast to that. Even if it is just, something as the base example there, homosexuality, that's something that we all know a lot of religious beliefs persecute, and a lot of traditionalist beliefs persecute that. But it can be anything for you here. And that's why you struggle to accept yourself, because you are in difference to what you were told to believe in from the way that you were raised. All right. And so that it is part of the unprocessed past trauma, this sense of responsibility. I do feel a very strong sense of responsibility to tradition, to your family coming through here. We also have the Garden coming through for you, Pisces, which that is the public card, the social card. So there may be an energy here about, especially mixed in with that cross energy, that feeling as though you have a responsibility to like put on a face. This is my public face, and it may not blend with your truth. Okay, that you feel like you have an audience watching everything that you do and say, and so you struggle to accept yourself, because you know that your true self deep down in here is not necessarily the same self that you need to show to the world because of this. All right, because of some sort of responsibility or duty to your family, or feeling burdened by these past traumas that are, making you hide the truth of what you feel, making you push down those emotions and try to avoid those emotions. And for some of you, to the point where it's trying to pretend that those emotions don't even exist. I need to put on this face that everything's fine, everything's bright and happy. But these emotions, even if they're, no matter how well you hide them, they're still there. They are still there. So there's this energy of needing to accept those emotions within yourself, and spend some time dealing with those past traumas, especially any religious trauma that you may have experienced. And becoming more comfortable in your true self, rather than the self that you feel as though you have to display. Okay, Pisces. So a bit of a hectic, long one for you today, Pisces. You guys are probably, I think, got the longest reading so far today, but that's what we have. Okay, you're more than welcome to check out your other placements. Cross-watch anyone else's placements as well. Keep an eye out for the weekly readings. We will be trying to focus on the more positive sides of love and how to overcome this sort of ish. And so make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss out on the notification. But other than that, I will see you all there.